Hey, folks. How are you doing? It's been a while. I've missed you. Um, yeah, council has been on hiatus, summer break for the last 3 weeks. Jeez. So, while I have been making coffees, I haven't been making coffees as part of a city council meeting. And I'm just going to put the coffee water on. How's your summer been? Mine's been pretty good, pretty lazy, pretty boring. Well, not boring, just haven't done a ton of exciting stuff. I gotta grind some beans. Um, I've changed up my beans today. I was given a present from someone in my family. It's like Macquarie's tea and coffee merchants. They're midnight espresso beans. They're a lot darker and oilier than I'm used to, which is cool because it makes it very. I like my coffee. Well, I like coffees like that are dark and bitter, like my soul. And this really hits the spot. It does. Okay, so today on executive committee, for some reason, the live feed didn't start right at 9 a.m. like it was supposed to, and it actually like picked up partway into the meeting. So missed. There's something about like emergency preparedness. I think it was. Hang on a sec. Um, yeah. Provincial Disaster Assistance Program request for designation. Oh, and by the way, this is an executive committee meeting. I don't typically read the reports before executive committee. I will, read the stuff that actually makes it to the council meeting that I find the most exciting. I don't read every report. I don't read like every freaking discretionary use application or what have you. What else? So yeah, I have no idea what that was or if it passed. I assume it passed. After that, there's this Rapid Housing Initiative 3 project. Apparently, it got stalled out because of construction costs going up. Hey, I think that's going to continue to be a theme for the next couple of years. I think you're going to hear reports coming back about all sorts of stuff that city council is trying to accomplish, or that partners with city council are trying to accomplish, and they're just like, "Holy crap, my guys! We cannot afford to build things with prices the way they are." And you can, there are a lot of things you can thank, but Donald Trump, he's one of those things. So, yeah, thank America for some of this, at least in part. What else? Ooh, tamper. You gotta tamp down your grinds. Still not the best at this. You want to like make a nice tightly packed puck that's nice and level. Mine are always a little bit askew, I find. I don't know if that's affecting my coffee. I doubt it. My coffees seem just fine. I'm happy with them. I enjoy them. All right. Oh yeah, and then there's this little thing. So I don't have as much to talk about today as I usually do. How this works, you have like this little thing. It's got all these little like dots on the bottom, and you put your coffee in on top, and then you have this little like screen thingy that you can like look through, and you put it on top, and this kind of keeps the water and the coffee separated until you want them to come together and form the magic that is coffee, like to drink. And then you put this little basket into this thing. Oh god, that's a great sound. And then you put it into the Cafe La Robot. I'm just waiting for the hot water to boil. Like the big machines that you see in coffee shops, they boil the water and they inject it, and then it gets forced through here while it's steaming through like coffee magic. And but yeah, this like it just uses my own arms to make the coffee for me. Oh, do I have a coffee mug? I do. Okay. So yeah, this Rapid Housing Initiative project, I cannot remember. This happened back in 2013. I cannot remember. 2013, that can't be right. Jesus. Anyways, it happened a long time. No, I got 2013 in the brain from other stuff. Happened 3 years ago that this was approved, this Rapid Housing Initiative project. And the developer got a long way along, but then they ran out of money. And so the YWCA has stepped in. They're taking over the project. They've gotten an additional, I think it was like 3 million or 1 million. I cannot remember, guys. It was minutes ago. They got additional money from the Housing Accelerator Fund or money was not additional, but money from the Housing Accelerator Fund was contributed to this project to make sure that it would go through. If we don't want to have to pay penalties, i.e. if we don't want to like give back the money we were already given by the province and the federal government to make this project happen, we have to make sure that it goes ahead. So the city is, pulling out all the stops. But yeah, like I say, construction costs have been going crazy. It's making everything worse. And you know what else is going to make things worse on housing costs? Or not housing costs, on construction costs, just across the board? That freaking AI data center that's going in south of the city, that's driving up construction costs. And the work that's going to be going on at Real. So Semple has come in with all this money and he's trying to like get the Real district all fancy dancy in time for the Grey Cup. So those two pressures are going to be like draining off a lot of like the workforce and a lot of the capacity to do construction in a year. And that means everything's going to be more expensive. And so the city, by, saying, oh yeah, we want these things are going to be great, they've shot themselves in the frickin' foot. And you're going to see things like the indoor aquatic facility, some of the Rose projects and some of the infrastructure projects we're trying to get done. Those are not going to be coming in at the prices they were, we were told 2-3 years ago, because they didn't have these additional pressures. Okay, this is just my guess. I could be wrong, right? Like I'm just making this crap up as I just need a coffee, goddammit. I haven't had one yet this morning. And so yeah, I'm nearing the caffeine withdrawal hangover headache that I don't want to have. So anyways, what else was going on? Okay, so now the the housing strategy came up again. I haven't read, so I cannot speak to it on its merits. Administration says it's awesome, but I mean, they wrote it, so of course they're going to say that. This dude, William Wells, he used to be a city councilor. He's been showing up at council a lot over the last few years. And he showed up to talk about how this housing strategy doesn't talk about complete communities. And here's my water. So yeah, you filled the water in this little basket up to about the 4/5 point. Okay, and then we lock it into the Cafe Line robot. Here. The coffee mug underneath, using my lovely sunshiny welcome to the morning coffee mug. Oh my God, I have done something wrong. Oh no! This went horribly. Oh, I know exactly what I've done. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so embarrassed and I'm so sad. Coffee fail. See this grinder here? This hand grinder is set to 2. Nope. Has to be set to 1 for espresso. So I'm going to follow through with this coffee because I need the caffeine, however much of it got through, regardless. But yeah, this is a coffee fail. Oh my God, just look at this. The crema on top, I don't know if you can see that. It's like thin and barely there. I'm so disappointed in myself and in this coffee. But I will drink it regardless. And then I will make another once council has started up again. Okay, so this William Wells guy, oh God, I'm disappointed. So this William Wells guy shows up to council and he's talking about how we're not building complete communities. And I gotta say, dude's right. So the official community plan was supposed to, it makes mention of this 1,000 times. We should be building complete communities. And he's like, why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we trying to make every neighborhood like Cathedral? And he doesn't mean Cathedral specifically, but I mean, it's like, it's it's the best example of, like, say, Old Strathcona in Edmonton, of that, like, functional, vibrant community that isn't necessarily your downtown, where you have like this mix of like retail and other services like doctors' offices and crap like that, and grocery stores and housing. And the housing is at sufficient density to like make sure that all of those services and those businesses can function, right? So we haven't been building those. Hang on, let's test this coffee. Yeah, it's not great. I will be honest. It's kind of, yeah, could be better. I could have done a better job. Okay. Yeah. So he's like, why isn't things like our housing plan, keeping that in mind? I suspect administration's answer, if they get asked this question that directly, they'll say something along the lines of official community plan is about that. But I did find it interesting. There was a question kind of around that to administration, and the director of planning, I think, I can't remember these titles. She basically said that the way that we build neighborhoods and what a complete community is different now than when 13th Avenue was built, and that's a freaking just not true. I don't know why this is so complicated. The reason we don't have communities right now that have that same sort of like community feel and that same kind of like accessibility that say 13th kind of almost does. 13th has problems, my dude. Is because we have prioritized roads and we've prioritized parking in our planning for the longest time. When you tried to like build a business, like if you were going to build a building on a lot that was going to have a business in it, we used to have a rule that said you had to have X amount of parking to match your floor space for this business. And these were like just like numbers, right? These were just arbitrary numbers that some planner in the States, the friggin' United States, came up with these numbers and put in a friggin' book. And then we just like copy and pasted it for Canada. So these friggin' numbers, these like parking minimums, have been in existence in Regina for like a long friggin' time, like since the mid 20th century, after 13th Avenue was built, and after like any of the like functional neighborhoods in Regina were built. We got these parking minimums, and they've been like the law of the land forever. And you get people who are like, "Oh, we need parking," and they object to the fact that what we did in the last like 5 years is we got rid of those parking minimums. They're just gone now. We don't have them on anything. We don't have them on retail. We don't have them on office, and we don't have them on housing. And that is good, because those things have been the law of the land forever. And people look around and go, why is our city so expensive? Why is nothing good like it used to be back in the old days? Why is everything kind of like junky? It's your friggin' parking lots, right? Your friggin' surface parking lots. And because, you let like developers will just say, oh, well, it costs more to build like underground or covered parking lots. So we just don't do them. And we're just like, okay, we'll just like eat up more of our land, make our parking lots even bigger, make it longer for people to walk, harder for people to walk. 13th Avenue has two main parking lots on it. One is on the east end of 13th Avenue, and it's behind Pump Jacks, which used to be the Free House and blah, 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 back to forever. And it's beside Bobby Joe's coffee shop, which is very good. I love Bobby Joe. So there's a parking lot there, and then there's another major parking lot, but it's right in front of the Safeway. And these do not contribute to the vibrancy of the street. People will say, well, people come to Cathedral and they can park in those, and then they like go around and they they contribute to the community, but they don't, because if you go to Safeway, you park in the Safeway parking lot, and you're supposed to F off right after you're done at Safeway. They don't want you parking in their parking lot, and they will kick you out if you park in their parking lot and go shop somewhere else. So no, these are single-use parking lots. These are for the people who are using the businesses that have that parking lot. It is not for the rest of the community. These are not community parking lots. What they do add, though, is they add extra feet, right? Like extra meters that you have to walk to get to anything friggin' good. And they create these friggin' wastelands, these dusty, garbage collecting, gross, inhuman patches of asphalt that just keep you from anything that's worthwhile. And if you try to like cut through them, like I cut through the Safeway parking lot every now and then to get groceries, you're dodging cars. right? So like they're not just ugly, unappealing, and dangerous looking. They are dangerous, right? Because you have to dodge cars because cars might hit you and kill you in a parking lot. So yeah, the parking lots are not helping Cathedral, or if they are helping Cathedral, it's in a minimal way, but they're also introducing problems into Cathedral that are considerable for 13th Avenue. 13th Avenue too, man, it needs to increase its residential or its retail density. It's just really not there. Like if you go to, well, I used to live right by White Avenue in Edmonton. I also used to live like right off Commercial in Vancouver. Um, like the number of businesses per block are just like way higher in those neighborhoods, and perhaps we can't like, we don't have the population density to keep that many businesses going, but that's because we need more population density. Population density in Cathedral, by the way, has been on a downward trend. I think it might be like stabilizing or going up now. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at more recent numbers. But one of the things they talked about a few years ago at council is how um, from like its peak in like 1911 to now, the population density in Cathedral has just cratered. And that's because mainly like not as many people are living in a single family house anymore. And also like whatever, like some like multi-unit family housing has disappeared. But yeah, there's just like fewer people living in Cathedral than there used to be. And we need to get those numbers up. If you want to have a neighborhood that not only can support businesses, but is also relevant, right? Like if you want to have like a number of voters who are concerned about the downtown and can vote to support the downtown, you need voters. And so you need to like have your density numbers up. Anyways, I'm just freaking rambling, and I've been rambling for 16 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, complete communities. We don't build them. We don't build them because we have like made the car the primary mode of transportation. And our communities will be junk for as long as we do that. Administration has basically said, we don't build communities like we used to because our priorities changed. Our priority is the car. And that is, by its very nature, anti-human, and that is a problem. And we are not going to build great communities. Mancinelli seems to think that Coopertown is going to be great. And if you've looked at the plans, it's going to be great. And it's got that mix of residential and retail, and it's got, the density and the stuff. And it's like, where are your parking lots? Tell me where your parking lots are. If your parking lots are at the sidewalk and you have to cross a parking lot to get to your business, you've failed. It's already failed. If your parking lots are not shoved into the background somewhere, you have failed. How wide are your roads? If your roads are too wide, you've failed. Where are your sidewalks? This is the dude who wants to get rid of half the sidewalks in the city. Where are your sidewalks? If you don't have the sidewalks, you've failed. The other thing too, the city should be doing a review of its zoning bylaw. Is that in here? I can't freaking remember. Housing strategy, parks master plan. Yeah. So, anyways, our zoning bylaw. One of the things I had hoped to see in it when the zoning bylaw was reviewed, like I don't know, 7 or 8, 9 years ago, is that they would get rid of these like arbitrary distinctions between retail and residential. They kind of made a gesture towards it by calling our retail neighborhoods mixed use. It's just not happening. Developers here don't want to build mixed use because they don't understand it. It fucking blows their fucking minds. And they're like, well, it doesn't work. They'll point to the one on Rose Street downtown and say, why didn't that work? We built your housing, we put like stuff on the bus. There's a fucking parking lot right across the fucking street. That block is mostly parking lot. There's just the people who live in that building and the retail at the bottom. It's stuck in the middle of like some like ass end of downtown by a parking lot. You keep building parking lots, these things are going to fail. You keep building these things around parking lots, they're going to fail. I was going somewhere. Right, like with our zoning bylaw. We need to like freaking let chaos reign in zoning. We need to bring that back. Sure, you don't want to have like an iron smelter next door to, I don't know, like a daycare, or next door to, an apartment block or townhouses. Of course, that was the problem that zoning was supposed to be fixing. Iron smelters next to babies. You don't want that. But what you do want is you want a bodega next to townhouses. You want shops next to townhouses. You want a dentist office next to housing. And our zoning bylaws have made that impossible, largely because we need the parking. It all comes back to parking. But yeah, that's the problem, right? And every time you try to like introduce some retail use or some kind of like use that people aren't expecting into a single family neighborhood, they go freaking bananas. Yeah. So if we could review our zoning bylaw and just like let chaos reign, let it rain, you know, keep the iron smelters where the iron smelters should be. Everything else should just be a freaking mishmash. And I think that things will work out better. Chaos, man. Oh, like this coffee. This is not the greatest coffee I've ever made in my life. I am a sad Staniel. Okay, that's where I'm going to end it for today. I'm going to go back to the meeting and catch up to whatever they're talking about. I do not have high hopes for this housing plan. I do not have high hopes for our zoning, and I do not have high hopes for our official community plan. If anything, I still expect this council to be pushing for parking. I mean, not everybody on this council, but you know, that there is like a general sense that we've been doing things wrong. And therefore, we need to go back to our car-focused ways with these goobers. And I don't think it's that we've been planning things wrong. I think that our official community plan is a solid document. I think our downtown neighborhood plan is a solid document. We just haven't implemented it. When it's come time for council to do anything that's hard or unpopular or maybe a little costly, they've just said, screw it. We're not going to do that. We're just going to like wait and hope that some magic happens down the line. Magic doesn't happen. You have to actually make it. Okay, so coming up this week, the Queen City Improvement Bureau, we took last week off because it was so nice. And we actually took the last 2 weeks off. There wasn't much going on at council, and it was nice. So Aiden and I didn't meet up. And but yeah, we're going to be meeting up this week. I don't think we have a guest. That might change. We will be talking about the downtown. So it's called the Regina City Jamia Masjid. It's the mosque downtown. They have an application in to do the call to prayer. I'm sure we will be talking to that because I showed up at the public consultation. I saw a few counselors there. I saw Flores. I was actually talking to Flores. Councilor Rasevich was also there. I was there when Councilor Flores and Councilor Rasevich were talking. Councilor Fro was there. So I've got some audio from Councilor Rasevich's words to the press about the downtown mosque's call to prayer. Spoilers, he's again it. Councilor Fro also spoke. He basically said, this is none of our business. There is an effort online to organize people to speak against the call to prayer at the upcoming police services meeting. I don't know if that's happened. Seriously, guys, it's nice. I've not been paying that close of attention to what's going on at City Hall. I missed yesterday's planning commission. But yeah, so there is an effort online to try and like block this call to prayer. I suspect this is not something that's going to be going away. I hope that they get it. I hope that they get their application because the one that they got so that they could do the test and then it was going to like blah blah blah. That's expired, and so they've now applied for another one. They're going to be passing on the results of their consultation from the weekend onto the police. I hope it happens, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. We've also got some like other various and sundry stuff that we're going to be talking about. I think it'll probably just be Aiden and I. So it'll just be us rambling like I am right now, but on the radio. So you can hear us in your car. You can hear this in your car, but you won't get to see me drink this mediocre coffee. Okay, I'm going to shut it down. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry this was like just devoid of substance. But here we are. It's summer and it's city council. Yeah, I'm going back to executive committee. I will be live tweeting on Blue Sky as at PD City Hall. See you later. Ciao, folks.